What I want to talk about today is, at least one of the things I want to talk about today is our litigation philosophy. Uh, what what drives us? Why do we do what we do, and how do we go about doing it? I listen to a lot of self-help gurus. You see them on LinkedIn and all these different things, and they're all selling the secret sauce. They're all talking about, hey, how are you successful? How are you successful? This is the things you need to do. And I mean, I don't seek these guys out. They just pop up on my feed. Sometimes they're interesting. Sometimes they're funny. So I'll pay attention to them for a little bit. But in my mind, it all comes down to this. And I thought about this a little bit this morning. It is consistent, concentrated effort, sometimes sacrificial, over an extended period of time that yields good results. I think it's as simple as that. If you're consistent, meaning that you come to work every single day, and you're intentional in what you do, meaning you have a plan and you execute that plan, and when necessary, sacrificial, meaning that you'll stay the extra time or do the extra things you need to do, and you do that day in, day out for weeks, months, years, whatever it may be, I don't see how you cannot be successful. So when we take a case, when we become involved in a case, it's not just a business transaction at that point. It's a responsibility. You know, I like to think, and in my mind I do, take personal responsibility for all the things that go on in my office. When a client comes and hires us, I hope that client is put at ease. I hope that burden is lifted off them and put onto us. That's how it should be. The client shouldn't go home worrying about the case. The client shouldn't continue worrying about all the things going on with it, because they should know that we've got it and we're bearing it and we're seeing it through. They should know that we're going to do everything that is necessary and everything that's possible to make sure the client gets a positive outcome. We're going to consistently, intentionally, and if necessary, sacrificially exert effort on that case for as long as it takes so that the client can be successful, so that the client can get the best outcome possible. We've also talked a lot about how do you go about picking a lawyer? How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you navigate this web of information that you get when trying to find an attorney? And one point came to me this week. I defend a lot of cases, and we also prosecute a lot of cases. And I get this case that comes across my desk, and I'm just like, what on earth was this person thinking when they took this case? And it dawned on me, they take every single case that walks in the door. This particular law firm, and there are multiple law firms that do this, especially the big box law firms. Every single case that walks in that door, they take it. I want to add something to our list of things that you should ask your attorney when you sit down with them to interview them. How many cases have you turned away in the last week? How many cases have you turned away in the last month? Because if the attorney has taken everything that walks in that door, one of two things is true. Either the attorney is desperate, meaning that they don't have enough work, and if they don't have enough work and they're not just starting out, that should be a red flag. Or they're taking everything that walks in the door because they're greedy. They want to have their hand in every single case they could possibly get it into. People, and especially other attorneys, judge attorneys, right or wrong, it's true, by the cases they become involved in. I remember early on in my practice, I was still working for someone else, and an older lawyer told me, the most powerful tool you have in your arsenal to guide your practice is the ability to say no. To say no. If you don't feel like the case is something you should become involved in, say no. Say no up front. If you feel the case is questionable, meaning you're willing to take a look at it, but you're not 100%, tell the prospective client that. Tell them, hey, I will take a look at this, I will do some initial investigation, and I will get back with you. about whether or not we'll actually pursue this case. Don't just sign them up and then cut them loose later. That's something that I do regularly. If someone comes to me and their story's just not adding up, or there's more information that I need that they can't provide me, I'll tell the client, hey, give me 2 weeks. Let me make a couple calls. Let me make a couple requests. I'll get some initial information, and then I'll get back with you and tell you whether or not we can continue in the case. And if we can't continue in the case, I'll give you all the reasons why we can't. I'll give you that information so that you can make a decision. You can say, hey, I no longer want to pursue this, or you can take it to another attorney.